Hello and welcome to this brief but I hope informative Capsarius guide. I appreciate that there are numerous guides showcasing methods similar to this, but this guide in particular aims to provide a very budget-friendly setup that will still one-shot Capsari in Legacy with a fast type weapon. You only need a little over 30 million GP to replicate this setup, which is incredibly affordable compared to many decimation bow setups which cost significantly over 100 mil. It should also be noted that the Reaper crew achievement is neither assumed nor required for the setup showcased in this video. This setup will achieve approximately 1100 kills per hour, which is essentially the highest possible with any setup, budget or not, assuming you're off task. It's also incredibly AFK, as you only need to click every 5 minutes to avoid lobbying, as well as using Excalibur every 10 minutes or so. Here is my gear setup. I have highlighted the total damage bonus in Legacy mode, as I believe 225 to be the minimum required to one-shot Capsari, assuming the Amulet of Zealots and correct perks and prayers are used. If, for whatever reason, you cannot exactly replicate the gear shown in this video, you can check your damage bonus by switching to Legacy mode, drinking an overload and opening your loadout through the hero menu. The following is therefore showcasing one of potentially many different setups that will one-shot Capsari 100% of the time. Moving anti-clockwise from the top left, we begin with the Equilibrium Aura, which is absolutely necessary if you want to one-shot the creatures every time. Next is the Constitution Cape. This is very important as it provides much needed passive healing during combat. You may also wish to use a Max Cape, Combatant's Cape, or Kiln Cape, but make sure you have the Constitution Cape perk active. Amulet of Zealots. This is used in conjunction with normal prayers for a plus 16% damage boost with very little prayer drain. Next we have the Asylum Surgeon's Ring. You may also wish to use a 6th Age Circuit as it provides the same offensive bonuses. There's also a Quiver, but that's not needed. The weapon is a Zaryte bow. It's only around 10 mil, and it's a tier 80 fast type ranged weapon, and has the perks shown. Of these, only Precise 6 and Ruthless 3 are needed, as the Equilibrium perk has no effect whilst Equilibrium Aura is active. There's also an Illuminated Godbook which is only used for its stats. Then we have 4 Armador pieces: the legs, the boots, the body and the helm. Neither the legs nor the body need to be augmented, although it's strongly recommended to augment a single piece to put Scavenging 4 on it. You may also wish to chuck on an Absorbative 4 gizmo as well, for a little bit of extra damage reduction. Finally, we have the Regen Bracelet. Assuming the rest of your setup is the same, you will not need any additional offensive stats, so the Regen Bracelet is used to provide additional health regeneration during combat. The inventory setup is pretty standard. The key aspects are the usage of potion reservoirs with your Holy Aggro Overload potions, as well as magic notepaper to note your keystone drops. As for the prayers, you want to be on the normal prayer book and use both Overpowering Force and Rapid Heal, which is the lower tier health renewal prayer. The prayer drain for both of these is so low that your Holy Aggro Overload potion will sustain your prayer points indefinitely. You should also be using a legendary pet for the looting, especially if you wish to maximize your AFK time. Make sure your pet's scavenge ability is active and that miscellaneous is selected under the scavenge options. If you don't have a legendary pet or don't intend on fully AFKing, the Lorehand is a great alternative. With its 9x9 area loot size, you can loot most of your drops from the center of the room without moving. I will now briefly showcase a short clip of this setup in action. In 10 minutes I achieved 184 kills, which can be extrapolated to 1104 kills in the whole hour. I also lost 540 life points, meaning I would need to use an Excalibur every 8 minutes or so. I had Crystal Shield 1 on my armor, and if this had been Absorbative 4 or similar, I would have taken even less damage than I did. The clip also shows my legendary pet successfully looting 4 out of 4 keys. In most cases, if you don't do any manual looting, it normally picks up a little over half, maybe 2/3 of all keys dropped. At current prices, that's around 6 to 7 million GP an hour, which is pretty solid for such an AFK activity. With manual looting, the Lorehound pet is really nice to use. As you can see, it can loot most of the drops in the room, only missing out on the Capsari that wander too far from their spawn positions. As a final note, I think it's worth mentioning that the Alt1 toolkit has a great tool for AFK and Capsari like this. It's called the AFK Warden, and I use it for a bunch of AFK activities. For Capsari specifically, the HP alert, lobby timer and loot beam alerts are all super useful if you wish to maximize your AFK time without having to worry about lobbying, dying, or missing loot. That's about it from this guide. I hope it was of some use to those of you who are a little strapped for cash, maybe also quite busy and are looking for an AFK moneymaker. Thanks for watching.